Today I'm going to do a review of this 14BX Laguna bandsaw, and not specifically in a product review feature by feature, but just in the idea of, if you're a wood turner, should you buy this bandsaw? And my recommendation is not to buy it, and I will tell you why. Just so you know what my setup is, I've got, this is a 110 volt version of the saw. I have a Highland Woodworking 3/8 inch blade on here, and I've got it tightened to 3/8 of an inch. And I use this saw almost exclusively for cutting bowl blanks. As you see, I've got a jig here that lets me cut a blank, virtually of any size. And the complaint that I have on this saw really is two things: one minor, one major. Right? The minor one is the cooling blocks themselves. Here I think seem to come loose, and I've actually put in a little piece of plumber's tape here to secure it, so it's holding. So nothing that I really couldn't overcome. But the really frustrating thing for me, which is why I would recommend that you not buy this saw, is the actual guide blocks themselves. And when you have a bowl, a piece of rough wood you're trying to turn, as you feed it through the saw this way to be cut, the blade itself wants to drift that way. And so as you get the horizontal force pushing this way against this guide block here, the guide block itself is going to want to move that direction. Now the way that this is held in, it's held straight in right here, which is really good if you're doing straight cuts that way. It works great. But on a circle cutting jig where you have the blade wanting to drift over this way, this block here comes undone, comes loose every single time I use it. I've gotten this thing up flush against the blade here. I mean, not dead flush, but thickness of a piece of paper away from it, and tighten this thing down, I mean almost to the point of having to use a wrench. And after about halfway through cutting the circle, this thing has come loose, has almost fallen off at this point. So I've got a blade that's completely unsupported, and as a result, you snap some blades. And I've called Laguna and asked them, are these things warranted at all? Is there, maybe I've got something that's got a bad nut, a bad bolt in here, or maybe the little guides that kind of hold it are loose, but this thing really doesn't work. And I would have thought they would have tested that in the product design. They were very pleasant on the phone, but just said, look, we don't warranty these things, and there's nothing we can do about it. So my remedy at this point is either A, to live with it and just buy a bunch of blades from Highland, or B, try to get an aftermarket guide, something from Carter or somebody that I can use. So very frustrating experience. I think I spent about $1,300 or $1,400 on this saw, and just have found it to be extremely disappointing. So if you are using a bandsaw, or plan to use a bandsaw for wood turning, I would not buy the Laguna saws, any of the saws that have this type of guide block.